Sleep paralysis. So I've made a few videos about it on my channel already, but today I'm going to share with you my first ever experience with sleep paralysis and what it was like. Just a quick announcement before I start the video. As some of you know, for the last few months, YouTube has been behaving a bit weirdly with regards to subscriptions. A lot of people are subscribed to people, but they just don't see any of the new videos in their subscription feed, unless they actually go to the channel manually, which obviously defeats the point of a subscription. If you're subscribed to someone, you want to actually get updated when they release videos. So I'm pointing this out because I know plenty of you are subscribed to me and might not be getting those same notifications. You might not be notified when a new video comes out. So if you do want to be notified, if you do want to stay up to date with my videos, click on the bell icon next to where it says that you're subscribed, and then tick the box that says to be notified via email for new videos. This will allow you to stay up to date when my videos come out. Anyway, thank you guys, on to the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Tifro. It's me, Matt here, and today I'm talking sleep paralysis. In particular, I'm going to be sharing my first ever sleep paralysis experience. If you're wondering what on earth is that mess on your face, then I do apologise that you have to put up with it, but I'm trying to grow my beard out and it looks horrible at the initial stages, so just put up with it for now. Anyway, on to sleep paralysis and my first ever experience with it. So this actually happened quite a long time ago. I've had so many encounters with sleep paralysis now. In fact, the most recent time I had sleep paralysis was actually last night. I had it twice last night. And to me, sleep paralysis is not something that I'm scared of. In fact, it is something that I look forward to. When I get sleep paralysis, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Why do I get like that? Because it is the gateway to astral projection. When you're in sleep paralysis, you can perform an out-of-body exit technique and have an astral projection. And astral projection is something that, for me personally, is very difficult to actually do still. So whenever I get sleep paralysis, I'm excited because it's a chance to try it again. But that wasn't the case when I first had sleep paralysis. That was very, very, very different. So I'm laying there. I can't remember how many years ago this was, but it was several years ago. I'm laying there in bed. And I wake up in the night, and I'm just like, I don't know, I have this kind of weird, unpleasant feeling. You know when you sometimes just wake up in the night and you just kind of feel like something's a bit off? You kind of have that sense of danger or something. That's what I had. I had this, sense of danger, like something was off. Like, almost like if you go to bed after watching a particularly scary horror movie and you kind of wake up in the middle of the night and you're still thinking about it. Something like that, when you're like a kid and you're terrified in your room because, you think the horror movie's real. That kind of feeling is what I had, except I had no reason for it. There was nothing to scare me there, particularly. Or so I thought, anyway. So I'm laying there in this uncomfortable feeling, and that is when I noticed something. I noticed this shadow kind of towering over me, and I look towards it, and I see there is like this man in dark robes just standing inches away from my bed, just like leaning over me, looking down at me, except he had like no real face. I mean, the closest thing that I could compare it to would be the Dementors from the Harry Potter universe, and I'm sure those took inspiration from sleep paralysis. Like, anyone who's experienced sleep paralysis would know that that is the kind of thing that you see. And so I'm looking at this thing, and I'm just like, oh crap, I need to do something, I need to move, I need to get out of here. But I try to move, and I am completely stuck there. And I got this feeling as well, like, it wasn't just that this person was kind of watching me. Like, I got this feeling kind of like the whole Dementor thing as well, where like I felt like the person standing over me was what was causing me to be frozen. I felt like they were paralyzing me and like somehow like stealing my energy or something. It was this really weird feeling, and I can understand why a lot of people, associate the likes of sleep paralysis with things like demonic possession and stuff, why people believe that this something like this is actually happening, because when you're in that experience, it really feels like you are being taken over by something else, or something else is, coming there to, stop you, because until you've become familiar with sleep paralysis and realised that the paralysis and all of that, and the feeling of being unable to move and the feeling of panic is just how sleep paralysis works, then when you first experience it and you see something standing there, then you obviously think it's that thing that is causing that. So I just remember laying there thinking like, what on earth is this thing, and why is it draining my energy? I just felt really, really negative, really, really scared, and I didn't know what to do. So I'm just panicking, trying to move. And I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I think I fell back asleep. Like, somehow in the midst of the panic I managed to fall back asleep, and I was asleep for a little bit, and then I woke up again, and I'm like, oh great, it was just a dream. And then I look to my side again, and the thing is still there, still standing over me, so the panic resumes once again. And after a while, I kind of snapped back out of it, and I was laying there in my bed. And the thing is, I don't remember a transition. I don't remember ever like closing and opening my eyes again. It was just that the figure disappeared and suddenly I was able to move. And often sleep paralysis is like that. There's no clear transition from being in sleep paralysis to being awake. So you kind of, it feels like you're awake all along. You don't realise that those are hallucinations, and that's, you know, why a lot of people can think that these things they're seeing are real. And so I was just like, okay, what on earth was that? Like, I was glad that the figure was gone, but I was pretty terrified because, you know, I had never had that before. And also, I had heard of stories of it before. Like, I didn't know what sleep paralysis was, but I had heard these stories. For example, my grandmother, she had reported that she had these, you know, experiences during the night where she would wake up and there would be something or someone just sitting on her chest, like pressing her down. And I remember hearing those stories because I heard those stories from my family, like when we were discussing things like ghosts and stuff like that. So that was kind of the impression I got. I got the impression that this was some real thing that had come and sat on her during the night. So when I had my experience, this was like further confirmation that I had encountered some kind of strange, unearthly creature that had come to visit me in the night. It was only later when I, you know, began experimenting more with lucid dreaming and learning about sleep and dreams and so on, that I learned about sleep paralysis, how exactly it works, and, you know, how it is just a kind of continuation of the dream state. But for some time after that experience, I thought I had, you know, ran into some kind of demon or something. And I just remember, like, after that moment, like when I was going to sleep and stuff, I would kind of always be concerned that I was going to wake up with that again. In fact, during that night, the one that I'm talking about, after, you know, waking up and the figure being gone and that, I was like, okay, I need to go back to sleep. But I couldn't really fall asleep initially, because I'm laying there and I'm thinking, what if this happens again? Eventually, after a while, I calm down, I go back to sleep. Sure enough, about 10 minutes later, I wake up again, the figure is there. And so I'm like sitting there, laying there, whatever, and the figure is just standing over me once again. I'm scared once again. I try moving, and I noticed that, like, I could sort of move my fingers and toes a little bit, so I kept moving them, and eventually I snapped out of it, and the figure was gone once again. It wasn't until probably a few months later when I kind of confirmed that this was sleep paralysis and that this was a normal thing. And I've had many encounters of it since then. Like, a lot of the time when I have sleep paralysis, yes, I will see like some kind of figure or something in the room, standing over me, standing in the corner, sitting in the corner of the room. More recently though, I've noticed that more of my encounters with sleep paralysis just tend to be the feeling of sleep paralysis and kind of this uncomfortable feeling like there might be someone there. That's a common feeling with sleep paralysis. You get this feeling of like dread. That's the way I would describe it, dread. You're kind of anticipating something bad about to happen, and that's why sleep paralysis is so scary, because that is one of the worst feelings. Fear, when you can actually see something and you're afraid of it and it's right there, is one thing, but when you're kind of anticipating, you know something's just around the corner, you know something's about to pop up, that's the kind of the thing that gets you scared in horror movies half the time, that kind of anticipation of what's going to happen. And that's what sleep paralysis is a lot of the time. So it's natural to be scared of it. I'm not so scared of it anymore because I have so much experience with it. I think after you've encountered it so many times, it just kind of loses its, you know, edge. It kind of ceases to be scary when you've experienced something so many times and, you know, just gone through it so many times, because you know that you're safe, you know, nothing can happen to you. You know, sleep paralysis is perfectly safe, and it's something that normally happens to you. You are in sleep paralysis, in a sense, every single night. The only difference about actually experiencing it is that's when you actually wake up before that paralysis ends. That paralysis is just there to keep you safe, to prevent you from, you know, jumping out your window because you were acting out a dream. So, you know, be grateful for sleep paralysis. The fact that you encounter it and you wake up in it, yeah, it's a bit scary, but that's just a reminder that your sleep paralysis is working extra well, you know, and that's a good thing, because you would get in a lot of trouble if you didn't have that paralysis during your sleep. There are people who actually don't have that. They go to sleep and their body doesn't paralyse and they just run into their wall. Like, because they're running in a dream, they just get up and run into their wall or something. That kind of thing. And it kind of scares you, it worries you, and you want to make sure you get it less in future, or you want to know what to do if you actually get sleep paralysis, I have a video called How to Not Get Sleep Paralysis, and it talks about, the best ways to prevent it from happening and what to do if it does happen, and I will put a link to that at the top of the video right now. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, remember to subscribe over there because you've got regular videos that come out multiple times a week. If you did enjoy the video, leave a thumbs up. If you have any comments or want to share your own sleep paralysis experiences, do so down in the comments below. And if you want to keep watching, check out the video that's linked on screen. Thanks for watching guys, take care.